Parades are something very iconic and recognizable at the Disney parks. Whether you get your spot 3 hours early, stop and watch them, or like me, take the opportunity to ride Space Mountain while everyone else is in the hub. Parades have been in Disney parks since 1955. Walt thought a parade would fit a small town theme that Main Street had had, since towns have had parades for big events or when holidays happen. Walt Disney himself got involved in the designing of the parades in 1961. He took inspiration from the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade and the Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade. Quickly, the parades became popular and would be held multiple times throughout the day. When the Magic Kingdom opened, it had design routes and maintenance buildings for parades. The first parade at Disney World was called America on Parade in 1975. Actually, these costume characters were later reused in the World Showcase. The tradition was then born, as parades became even more popular and still a daily occurrence today. Why all this talk about parades? Well, you read the title. I am going over my top 5 parades of all time at Walt Disney World. Starting off the list at number 5 is Remember the Magic Parade. The parade ran from 1996 to 2001 and was originally part of the 25th anniversary, until the name changed in 1998 to Disney's Magical Moments Parade, when the 25th anniversary celebration ended. What makes this parade so cool is that the stops along the parade route when guests would be able to interact with the characters and floats. The first unit was the Mural Castle, that has been in numerous parades and dates back all the way to the 15th anniversary, that had royal dancers, Cinderella, Prince Charming, Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Goofy, Donald, Chip and Dale. The next unit was the Little Mermaid unit. The float was modeled after the Under the Sea scene from the movie, having Ariel, Flounder, and Sebastian conducting the band. Which this animatronic Sebastian is rumored to be built for a cancelled Little Mermaid ride in the 90s, but all indicators point to this not being the case, because that ride ended up being halted at the model design phase. They would not have started building animatronics at this phase. Other fish made up the band on the float. The next unit was Beauty and the Beast. The float itself had Belle and Beast dancing on the ground. There were dancers pushing carts of food, which these costumes are from Beauty and the Beast Live on Stage. Seriously, they're the exact same and probably are still used to this day. On one cart was an animatronic Lumiere. Next was the Aladdin unit. This had 2 floats. One was a treasure car and guards. These were originally from the Aladdin Royal Caravan in MGM Studios. The float that had Aladdin and Jasmine also had Genie's head, which looks like, and probably is, Genie's head from Aladdin's Royal Caravan 2. Lion King was next, with different animals preceding and following the float. On the float was Rafiki and Simba with Timon and Pumbaa. Wait, these animatronics look like the ones from Festival of the Lion King. Maybe because they're the same. The finale was next, with all kinds of characters like Snow White, Dopey, Alice, Pocahontas, Pooh and Tigger, Eeyore, Peter Pan, Hook, Pinocchio. There's one thing I keep saying about this parade, and that's when the things in the parade have been or have been recycled after the parade ended. Well, that's such a big thing with this parade that it was actually nicknamed the Recycle the Magic Parade. As a matter of fact, it has so many recycled items that it even recycled itself when the 25th anniversary ended and it became Disney's Magical Moments Parade. I don't know if it's the very 90s theme song it has or the many things that they took from it and the things that are in Disney World now, but I love Recycle the Magic and wish I personally got to see it during its run. Number 4. Disney Stars and Motor Cars Parade. I've said this many times before that I miss parades at Hollywood Studios, so I needed to include a parade from my favorite park. This parade opened in 2001 for the 100 Years of Magic celebration, which celebrated Walt Disney's 100th birthday. Stars and Motor Cars had different segments of the parade, which featured Disney characters in Duesenbergs and Mercuries. Those kind of cars are from the 30s and 40s, since MGM Studios at that time was still very much themed to the 1930s and 1940s Hollywood. The parade starts with the family that was pre-selected before the parade started. I miss when Disney used to do this. The parade premise is that the characters are on their way to a red carpet movie premiere and they travel in limos that are decorated like them. Toy Story is first up. Buzz and Woody sits in a car that looks like Andy's bed. Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head is on the hood of the car. And on foot in front of the car are some toy soldiers and Bo and Jessie. The car they are riding on is a 1940s Mercury. The next unit is Mary Poppins with penguin butlers on foot, and in the car, on carousel horses, is Mary Poppins and Bert themselves. They ride in a Duesenberg. The next car is my personal favorite, the Muppets unit. Sweetums is leading the way, followed by Miss Piggy and Kermit in the Duesenberg. This was during the time that the Muppets had walk-around characters in the park. The next car was the Star Wars car with R2-D2 and an extremely rare appearance by Luke and Leia in a Mercury. In another Mercury, next was Mulan and Mushu. In the later years of the parade, some characters were added like Lilo and Stitch in 2002, Mike and Sully from Monsters Inc. in 2003, and Lightning McQueen and Mater in 2006 were added to the opening of the parade. Aladdin and Jasmine were also in the parade in a car that had Jesse's face on it. Kind of weird. The villain segment featured Cruella Jafar, the evil queen, Captain Hook, and Hades in the car. The last cars in the parade had some of the most popular characters. Ariel was in a car with dancers around her. Bear from Bear and the Big Blue House had a car. Snow White had a very regal car. And of course, the Fab Five ended the parade in a very cool Duesenberg with Goofy driving. And oh yeah, the Power Rangers had a car. You may be wondering, how are the Power Rangers in this? And did Disney own the Power Rangers? Short answer, they didn't. Long answer, when Saban Entertainment, the company that made the Power Rangers, was owned by Fox Family Worldwide. In 2001, Disney bought Fox Family Worldwide, and with it, Saban. Disney then decided to make the most out of the Power Rangers and put them into Disney's MGM Studios and Stars and Motorcars. After the parade ended, there was actually a whole show for the Power Rangers that reused the car from the parade. Anyway, I love the idea of Stars and Motorcars, and the people in my family who saw the parade loved it as well. The parade ended in March 8th, 2008, and was shipped over to Disneyland Paris to become Disney Stars and Cars in 2009. That parade ended too in 2014. Some of the cars were transformed to floats used in 2015, and since 2013, the cars have been used in the New York Countdown Parade. Number 3, Mickey's Jammin' Jungle Parade. Not only was this Animal Kingdom's only parade ever, but it was a great one. Everything about this is great. The music, the characters, the floats. The parade opened with the Rafiki float that started the party. The parade also featured dancers, puppeteers that controlled animal puppets. These animal puppets were designed by Michael Curry Designs, the company who designed the puppets in the Lion King Broadway musical and the Katy Perry Super Bowl puppets. 3 Jeeps were in the parade and carried Minnie Mouse, Donald, and Goofy. Each Jeep was customized for the character. Like Donald's has a sports and underwater theme, Minnie's Jeep was decorated with her famous red and polka dots. Goofy's float had several oversized items on it. It also has a fishing hook, and my favorite from when I was a kid, the smoking grill. I don't know why it was cool. I just remember it clearly being cool when I was a little kid. I really don't know why. The parade also had characters that walked along the parade route, like Pluto, Brer Bear, Brer Rabbit, Chip and Dale, Baloo, King Louie, Timon, and Turk, plus some performers on stilts. Some of the animals' puppet floats had families that were pre-selected before the parade started. The final float had Mickey himself on it and 3 families. The Jammin' Jungle Parade started in 2001 for the 100 Years of Magic celebration. Before this and after, there has been no parade in Animal Kingdom except for the flotillas, and should stay that way, unless bring back Jammin' Jungle, please, I beg you. It stayed around for 13 years and closed in 2014. It closed due to the amount of construction that was happening around the parade route. Because Pandora was being built, the Festival of Lion King had to be moved, plus Rivers of Light was being built at the time. Jammin' Jungle's last parade was May 31st, 2014. 2 cars in 2009 were moved to the Volo Auto Museum in Illinois. The Goofy and Minnie vehicles were used during a special event at the museum in the summer of 2019. That same museum also received the Grand Marshal car from Stars and Motor Cars. Number 2. Main Street Electrical Parade. This parade is classic. I'm mainly talking about the Disney World version since that's the one I saw. This parade debuted on June 11th, 1977, and originally drew inspiration from the electrical water pageant. Since Disneyland didn't have a body of water in it, they decided to make a parade on Main Street. Because of Main Street Electrical Parade being upgraded in Disneyland, they also sent a version of the parade to Magic Kingdom. The soundtrack was upgraded too. Most famously, they added a new-spoken intro by Jack Wagner. The Electrical Parade ran from 1977 to 1991 in the original run. In 1992, it was sent to Disneyland Paris. Then the parade was sent to Hong Kong Disneyland in 2005, but for some unknown reason, never actually ran there. In 2009, 3 floats were sent back to Disneyland, but the rest of the floats that were sent to Hong Kong Disneyland are currently missing. In 1999, over at Magic Kingdom, they decided to bring back the Electric Parade while Spectrum Magic was in refurbishment. So, they decided to pull out the floats from Disneyland and restore them with the help of Gardner Holt Productions. It returned to Magic Kingdom on May 21st, 1999. A few weeks before it returned, Disney paraded the floats down World Drive. When Spectrum Magic refurbishment was finished, Main Street Electric Parade ended its second run. The floats were then sent back to Disneyland. In 2010, Main Street Electric Parade was sent back to Disney World when Disneyland's Summer Night... This is a mouthful to say. When Disneyland's Summer Night-tastic promotion came to Disney World. I'm not editing that out, by the way. It opened on June 6th and ended on October 9th, 2016. This was the last time Main Street Electric Parade ran in Disney World, and the last time Magic Kingdom had a nighttime parade. Think about that. Main Street Electric Parade is currently running right now in Disneyland. The Main Street Electric Parade is a classic. I saw it in 2015, and it was awesome. The opening float is so iconic and makes me smile whenever I see it. The whirling snail and turtles are just so cool, and are probably so fun to drive. Of course, the Elliott float is easily the best one in the parade. But Main Street Electric Parade is not my number 1. My number 1 took what Main Street Electric Parade started and ran with it. Number 1, Spectrum Magic. Spectrum Magic is easily my favorite nighttime parade. Well, not only nighttime parade, but it's my favorite parade of all time. Everything about it is special. The music, the characters, the floats. I won't go into much of the history here since I did a full video about it, but a quick recap is that it started in 1991 during the 20th anniversary of Magic Kingdom. It's also hosted by Jiminy Cricket. Right off the bat, you were greeted by the Trumpeters. In the original version that ran for a couple months, in 1991, the Trumpeters were before the finale floats. Next were the Whirly Ball units, the Title Float, and Mickey's unit. All of these units had the Spectrum Men on them, the mascot of Spectrum Magic. The story of Spectrum Magic revolved around the Spectrum Men being the keepers of magic for the parade, allowing the parade to light up. They are afraid to come out, but with the help from Mickey Mouse, they bring Spectrum Magic to life. The order of the units are Silly Symphony with Roger Rabbit leading the band in the original, Genie later replaced them, and Chip and Dale playing the piano. Sleeping Beauty's Garden was next with Fairies and Butterflies. The Fish unit with Little Mermaid was next. Ursula also made an appearance with a mask that was usually hard to see, so that made the costume very creepy. Speaking of creepy, some find the Spectrum Men creepy. I don't find them creepy. They look fine. Even the masked ones. The Fantasia segment was next. The ostriches were on the first float, then different scenes from that movie would be next, like the Chernobog float, that opened its wings on certain spots on the parade float. The finale ended the parade, and what a grand finale it was. The Three Pigs, Cinderella, Alice, Evil Queen, Hook, Pinocchio, Geppetto, Donald, and Minnie were on these floats. The The float showed scenes from Cinderella, Peter Pan, and Pinocchio. The parade ended with an animatronic Jiminy Cricket. I just love this parade. I can't say it enough. SpectroMagic had 2 lives, one in 1991 and 1999. Another one in 2001 to 2010. Interestingly, when the parade ended in 2010, 2 years later, President Barack Obama visited Disney World to give a speech. SpectroMagic floats could be seen backstage that day, and apparently that's where they would be normally, because the floats were destroyed one day by really bad rain. So there's my list. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the list. What parades would you guys add? I know all of my parades are defunct now, but if you really think about it, there's only one active parade in Disney World, so hopefully I will change soon. Festival of Fantasy, speaking of which, was very close to making my list. I won't reveal which one knocked it out of the list. I think it's easy to tell. But yeah, it at the end it didn't end up making it. Even though it's a great parade, you know, the Maleficent Dragon is incredible. While you're down there, leave a like and consider subscribing. It would make me a very happy man. And with that, I will see you all in the next one. Have a magical day, everybody.